What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dev Stream Watch Party. They are not yet live. They said 5 p.m., but I'm just running a minute behind. We're clicking refresh to see what's going on. Oh. Stream starting soon. All right, we're here. They are officially starting soon. Oh, was this just like they started this and then we're like, forget it? Oh, here it is. Can you guys hear that?
Can you guys hear me? I know, it's been a while, guys. I accidentally forgot to put myself off mute, but I think I did it this time. Forgive me.
I think we're good.
It's been a while.
What's going on?
Okay,
Sorry,
there
I'm
we
like
go.
looking at this and looking at
Alex,
chat.
Brian,
I
can you
see
talk a little bit?
Bricklog, Mamba, Jay, Homelander,
also
Vinny,
talk a little
Mark,
bit.
Owain,
All right, can you hear all three of us
Bobcat
now?
Ben, Art Jordy, Elias, Rondo,
Yeah,
Jason,
all
Woodrow.
right.
What's going on, guys?
We're good.
Hello,
We're
everybody.
good.
Sorry, I'm a little
No audio
sideways
issues this time,
with
except for human error.
chat
the,
and
keeping
otherwise.
everyone on mute.
Our favorite developers.
All right, well, hello everyone.
How soon can I get
I
banned
think
from this fucking chat?
3 to 4 months since we've had a stream, but we're back. I hope my internet holds up. I hope everything holds up, because I didn't really change any settings. But we are back. We're ready to talk about gear, and more gear. We have quite a few changes coming to gear in the patch later in March. And I think it's going to be some really interesting stuff. We have a blog that Alex wrote that we're going to publish after the stream. So if you want like a refresher, if you want it, or if you're
We'll see how douchey I can get in the chat without just putting the line on.
Go ahead and read the blog, but we're going to go into a deep dive, like a much bigger, more detailed version during this.
Are we expecting anything? I cannot say what I may have heard through the grapevine, but more than just the blog post that we saw yesterday.
Still healing, but I'm good. Still working from home, so
there is stuff that we did not know in this chat.
Before we start, Brian, Alex, do you want to say anything? Any greetings?
Before Alex.
This is a pleasant stream.
Thanks for tuning in for everybody, and I'm super happy people have been patient. I know the communication about like what's coming up in the future and all of that has been a little sparse, but as Brian has mentioned before, we want to make sure that we nail down exactly what we know is going to happen and when. So this blog post talking about the hero gear is like confirmed stuff. This is making sure that the thematic hero gear that you're going to get from certain activities is like well defined and clearly communicated to everybody. So thank you for being patient and sticking around.
Thank you guys for being patient. Thank you, chat.
Nice. Brian, is it really your birthday?
It's not my birthday, and
Oh, okay. I'm like,
people are saying that.
Did I miss that?
I feel like I'm being punked. But no, glad to be here. Happy to talk to you guys again. I know you guys are really here to see Alex. Me too.
Me too.
I will get one thing out.
It's just
of the
an
way,
Alex stream.
Asking about roadmap stuff.
Here we go.
We are working very hard to get that information to you. We don't have any info on it yet, but it is what myself and many other people on the team are working on very diligently. So want to get that to you as soon as we can, and once we have info, we'll definitely share that with you.
And the viewer base drops by half.
Cool. So with
and they lose half of the viewers right out of that.
Talk about. I have some visual, I guess, aids for this. It is a lot, so we will see if I can keep up with Alex. If I can't, then we'll figure it out. We'll do this as.
We'll see you later, everyone.
All right, Alex, are you ready?
Yep. So before we get into heroes, before we get into heroes,
just for the record, both of these guys hate me. All three of these guys hate me.
Stuff that's coming up
Is he in a bad mood?
Which is any perk. One of the big things that's going to be happening is any perk that says power attack that does not specifically say ranged or melee will now affect both.
That
will
was
go
already a
into
thing.
A little bit more detail when we get to the patch notes, but if it has values on things that affect both of those, is getting adjusted a little bit, while the values on perks that are specifically melee power attack, melee heavy.
Oh, maybe it
heavy
wasn't.
combo
Maybe it
finisher, and all
wasn't.
that are going to get their values upped pretty much across the board. They're going to have their lower values also kind of
It was
out,
kind of
so
a
there's little bit
mix.
more of a spread, but in general, we want to
If
make
something
specific
said
perks
power
that are more
attacks,
specific
percentage
value.
chance, percentage
Next to
damage,
that
that would
is
include like a
hero
Widow's power charge
Barbarian
shot, but
gear
also
and Jarvis gear that
like a
drops in the heroic
powered.
slot will now drop with might as a possible stat roll. So that is going to get added to the pool just for the heroic slot items. Right after that is there are going to be 2 status effect attack types added to the pool for Kate and Miss Marvel, which
Might
is
as
going
a
to be
rip.
their signature attacks are now going to roll with possible status effects. For Kate, this is going to be for her smoke arrow. For Miss Marvel, it's going to be her
Okay.
whirlwind uppercut and her spin to win while she's in polymorphed or in her embiggened state. It's actually one of the more interesting. It's one of the quicker ways to actually apply status effects. So that'll be really cool to get added to the pool. We will investigate the possibility of having status efficiency perks or claw raid to include these. That is currently not one of our priorities right now. And the fourth thing I want to talk
So
about
close, man. So close to
looking
status
at
effect on
adjusting
all melee
to the
attacks.
damage buff. And before I get into the details of what actually is going to be happening, I'd like to also lay out what damage buff does. So
Oh, here we go.
on the surface, the very
Damage
first
buff,
thing is
boys.
damage buff gives you a 65% damage increase. Ranged, melee, heroic, crit damage. I don't like it, but guess what? We're not going to touch it. 65% will remain. It also adds a crit chance for all attacks on top of it. This is where some of the problems of damage buff start to come in, because it increases your spike damage potential, and it makes building up one stat almost irrelevant. You don't build proficiency, because when damage buff is active, you get fundamentally what is worth 170 proficiency just in flat crit chance increase. But this also has another unintended side effect, which is it self-feeds damage buff. If you get a faultless buff and you have a high and which procs on crit, well, damage buff with a bonus crit chance feeds itself and can easily be maintained.
That's incorrect. It doesn't reproc.
And then the third part of damage buff, or then the last part of damage buff, is it adds impact. Well, impact in our game is a integer value.
It doesn't reproc. It doesn't go back up to the time.
It staggers them out of attacks,
This is
shields, what have you. Damage buff adds such a large amount of impact that individual skills or individual attacks, or
they don't even know how their own buff works. Their audio is low.
Are fundamentally made obsolete. You do not worry about those skills, because while damage buff is active, everything gets staggered. In practice, this actually makes damage buff our best defensive tool, because when the enemy is not attacking you, you don't need to build defense.
That's not true.
Going into the future,
Boy,
we are tuning
they
damage
are
buff to remove those utility elements.
Oh my god.
We don't want it to self-feed, and we don't want it to be a defensive tool. So the crit chance and the impact are going to get removed. But that's the damage buff. The Nordstone of Lethal Will's damage buff, when you activate it, stacks on top of normal damage buff and is a different buff.
It's not a different buff.
It has
That's
the
actually
same crit
incorrect.
chance
It's a
as normal
slight.
damage
It's
buff,
not that
and we
big
are
of a
gonna remove that,
of a
But
thing.
its overall damage increase was only 35%, and we're increasing that to 45%, and increasing that damage buff's duration by 2 seconds. The Nordstone of Lethal Will's damage buff will retain the impact utility, giving it some aspect that the normal damage buff does not have. So, the Nordstone of Lethal Will is going to maintain a little bit of utility. Its duration is going to get increased, and its overall damage increase is also going to go up. So, if it is active plus damage buff is active, you can actually see a 110% 110% damage increase.
Bad.
Overall.
Should have just changed.
The other perk of Nordstone of Lethal Will that
volume
increases
is still
your crit
low
chance while damage buff is active is going to go from 5 to 10% as well. So make sure that there's still utility in that feature as well, which also applies to the Nordstone of Lethal Will's damage buff while active.
So a thing you can activate every 5 minutes.
To make it that other skills, other attacks, and other perks that are coming up in the future are more desirable, because damage buff was doing too much utility, but the damage will remain. You will see less spike damage because of the crit chance, but if you build proficiency
This
on
is
that,
so
it can
stupid.
easily be overcome.
This is what I said.
So, with all of that out of the way, with all the boring
It's
stuff
still
out of the
the
way,
best
let's
perk.
get
It's
into
still something
the
you
cool
have
stuff.
to have. You want to have
Hero
all the
sets,
time.
there are 3
That's
hero
the
sets in the
problem.
game,
It
and we talked
needed to
about that
be
before, that have a
changed to
legendary and
duration
exotic
or
variant.
proc chance.
They did not
That's a
have
bad
a
change.
name that we could identify on the war table, so finding it was very much up to the player base. It's like, hey, this is where you get these things. This is where you get these things.
The science
Led to
table.
a lot of confusion on what is what. So we are giving all of these a theme. So they all have a theme, and that theme will be on display in the war table as part of the reward. So you're going to see this name, and it's going to be these pieces of gear. And all of these pieces of gear are going to fit some sort of aspect of the hero. They're going to encourage one thing or another. It's not going to be as simple as like tank, DPS, etc. Because tank is not exactly a theme that we can really apply the same way.
That
to all
tank is
heroes.
not really a theme
So
that
these
is
are
relevant
more
in this
vague
game.
terms to exemplify one aspect or another that can be applied to every hero, and they all are going to approach it differently. So with that said, let's get into the first set, which is going to be called the Classic Power Set. And that's what you'll see on the war table.
Classic power
Classic
set.
Power Set, some examples of the names you see on that is going to be the Infiltrators, First Avenger for Captain America.
So really
Allfather
no
for
detail
Thor,
as to
etc.
what.
For Spider-Man,
They're just throwing
set.
another name, which is actually going to make it
And
more
this
confusing.
set is going. This set also did not have an exotic variant in the game. In patch 2.3, you will be able to get the exotic variant of this set. This set's focus is designed around highlighting several features of the hero innately, not necessarily specializing in one. So in general, it is a jack of all trades set to cover a lot of bases: ranged, melee,
smoke
heroics,
grenade for a brief
and
duration after
elevate them
defeating
all
enemies
up.
while
You're not
overcharged.
necessarily going to get mechanics, but you are going to get
Faultless cosmic
accelerated
surge, lethal
features
chill
or
protection. These are new
enhanced
perks.
capabilities on your normal attacks across the board. This set is really good to slot into other sets to shore up some potential
All my builds will
weaknesses
stay
or to
exactly the
add,
same. Yeah,
benefits
exactly,
where
Jordy.
Other sets
It
have a clearly
means
defined
it's going to
feature,
do
but those
nothing
features
to the
leave
builds.
holes
It's
in your gameplay style.
something that gives
An
65%
example of
damage,
this
pure
is
damage,
Kate's,
is something you're going to want up all the
Sharpshooter
time
Arrow
regardless. So
Mark
it's
VI,
that was a stupid
which has
change.
Disruptor Deconstructor, which grants a huge debuff to enemies hit with Disruption Arrow. And her Sharpshooter's bodysuit has Blink Effector, which decreases the cost of teleporting. Both of these add extended benefits or increase your efficiency overall to help your play. Also,
Both of these pieces of
this
gear
is
are
one of the
absolutely
sets that is going to
garbage.
get Vibranium as a possible status effect role in it.
That's okay. That's a
Location
decent
of
change.
these has only been from Elite Hives. Going into patch 2.3, you will still find them from Hives, but only the legendary variant. We are replacing the hero set that was already found in villain sectors with the classic power set. So now you will be able to get these from our
How does this make it a
daily,
set? Yeah, there's no
missions for
set
the villain sectors,
bonuses.
as well as the Elite Weekly Villain Sector, which is going to be a new ritual
Elite
that we're going
weekly
into
villain
in 2.3.
sector.
Every week, if you are above a certain
Okay.
power level, you will get a
Guys,
weekly elite villain sector. that
elite
will have the
weekly
split
villain
of
sector.
melee ranged, defense
Bro,
heroic,
just another thing
for the
to.
classic power set. Both of those have a chance of being the exotic variant. So the
Another
villain
thing to
sectors will be on the
save
table all
scum
the
I
time,
put in the
and as you can
chat.
see on the image that Andy provided, you'll have the classic power set if you're above power level 80. If you're above power level 120, that has a chance to be the exotic. The daily mission.
Oh, they deleted my message.
Inhuman Alliance, that also has a chance of being the exotic. The weekly
They deleted that.
has a higher chance of being the exotic.
That's funny.
So
I wrote another thing to save scum,
just laying
and
that
they
out there,
deleted
you
it.
have multiple ways of getting this set, as well as being able to. I do want to highlight that the Elite Villain Sector will be hero bound, and that Elite Villain Sector.
They
will be
hate
on the
save
table
scumming so
for the
much. They
duration
hate
of
it.
We
I
have
love it.
5
Oh
weekly
my
villain sectors
God.
that it will rotate through. So, on to a few changes, and these changes will be in the patch notes as we get closer to 2.3, but just a couple of changes to the pieces, the legendary pieces.
I mean,
that
this is
players,
fine. This is an okay
have already been
change.
able to get.
Like
which is
legendary
Black Widow's
or exotic
Infiltrator's Belt,
versions
and,
of
before I
things that
get
were
into the
previously
real nitty-gritty
legendary.
of this,
Fine, that's a welcome
this is in
change.
line with
I don't
the
think
other
this
hero
is
changes back in 2.2, where we were trying to
groundbreakingly
remove generic
the most
perks
amazing
or perks
update in the
found
world. It's
other
kind of
sets
just
with
whatever,
something
right?
more hero themed in order to fit this set. Black Widow's Infiltrator's Belt, we're removing the generic heroic support regeneration perk with Assault Empowerment, which has a high chance of giving you an intrinsic boost when you use Widow's Bite. Thor's Belt of the Allfather, again, replacing the heroic regen perk with Rampant Supercharge, which increases willpower and heroic regeneration while overcharged.
That's pretty good.
Captain
The Widow
America's
piece sucks.
Chestplate of the First Avenger, we replaced Rally Cry Breaker, we're making that exclusive to the technical set, with Block Surplus, increasing the amount of block energy you have. And we replaced Reactive Overdrive with, we're going to make that exclusive to another set, with Lethal Nimble Overdrive, which activates Captain's Defense when defeating enemies with block attacks or when perfectly evading enemy attacks. Safeguard of the First Avenger, replacing the heroic regen perk with Commander's Call Safeguard, which increases defense while Captain's
I mean,
defense is
this all
active.
means fucking
And
nothing.
I also want to point
This
out
all
here
just
that
means nothing
I
to
am
me.
saying Captain's Defense because it was commonly in the buff feed.
What do you
called
guys think? I
Commander's
mean,
Call.
this like
That's the name of the attack that
block
used,
surplus. Come on,
proc
no one's gonna use
Captain's
that.
Defense, and that will be fixed in 2.3. In the buff feed, you will see Captain's Defense, not Commander's Call. Iron Man's modular Mark 7, we are replacing Hyperflex laser, which is actually getting moved to a different slot and a different set, with Hulkbuster Impulse, increasing stun damage in Hulkbuster. And the modular Mark 7 Power Cell, we replaced the Heroic Regen perk with Hulkbuster Breaker, which we are moving from another set, which increases your Hulkbuster damage, which is also being fixed in 2.3. And we replaced Rampant Regeneration with Armory Spike, increasing all critical damage from weapon attacks. Again, these are all there to reinforce the overall theme of accelerating all aspects of the hero, not necessarily focusing on a single thing of only heroics, only ranged, only melee.
I mean, I don't know. I can't assess these pieces right
And
now.
with,
I'll have to see more
I'll,
in game.
Didn't have a good segue into that one, so I'll just move into the next set. So, classic power set. So the other power set that we're going to be talking that is getting the bulk of changes is the technical power set. This is the set that was commonly found in vaults, with the exotic being found in Last Avenger Standing. Last Avenger Standing is still there, but you're now going to have a chance to get the exotics elsewhere because we're making vaults one of the primary ways of getting this. So, set focus first. By the way, for naming convention, this is the Nomad series for Captain America. For Kate, this is her Hawkettes or Hawkbirds. For Miss Marvel, this is her Marvelous set. And for Spider-Man, this is Public Menace set, as kind of an example on the names of this set.
Don't we already have? I guess no. We do only have legendary versions
technical
of those.
or support elements, while increasing survival and close combat, while adding armor or adding other type of intrinsic capabilities in combat. Many of the perks add duration to skills. Add
is
defense,
that Jordy?
or
Is that what they're
offensive
doing?
capabilities
They're
based on how much
nerfing.
intrinsic
They're
energy
removing
you
the
have,
heroic
as
charge
well as
rate
helping
perks.
other heroes. So this set has probably
They're just
gotten
removing
the
them.
most replacement and or change. It is also the other set that is going to get Vibranium as a possible status effect to drop.
I think they should all just have vibranium. Let's be
Examples
real
of
here.
these are
like-
Hulk's World Breaker alloy, which now has
Vibranium. They shoehorned you into using vibranium for the raid, so that's vibranium is by far and away the best element to get on your gear. So they might as well let it drop anywhere.
Evading incoming attacks.
They blocked you.
Another example would be Miss
Am I
Marvel's
completely blocked? I can
Marvelous
still
Body
chat. I
Armor,
think they just
which now
removed.
has Polymorph Rush.
I think they just
which,
removed one of my
allows
messages.
melee attacks to slowly regenerate willpower while Polymorph is active. This is on top of her her intrinsic capability of regenerating willpower while Polymorph is active, increasing her survivability. The location of these is going to be obviously vaults. the vaults are going to be on the table, on the war table, all the time. You will not need to go get coordinates to have a vault appear, so you can complete
Well,
it.
that's
all the
good
time.
because that was a silly thing.
The vault, obviously itself, will have a chance to drop.
Get ready for the
exotic when you're
weekly
overpowered.
elite vault. Get ready.
And if you pick up the new vault mission daily mission chain from the Shield faction mission giver, that has a higher chance of giving you the exotic
Poggers.
level 20. And again, once you're above a certain power level, a weekly elite vault.
Weekly elite vault, there it is!
Which has the melee range, which has the highest chance of dropping the exotic variant.
Whoa! Watch out! Weekly elite
vault is also going to be hero badge.
Pog!
And that is going to be on a 4-week rotation.
Oh no!
So again, this set,
Big
you
Pog!
don't have to go through LES to get it. LES will still have it, but you'll be able to farm it from normal vaults as well as elite.
My lord.
So going into the changes for this set coming up.
Oh,
which is, again,
nothing rustles my jimmies like a weekly elite vault.
Whoa! Or technical aptitude style perks. We want players to really focus on individual aspects of the hero, potentially doing things that they normally wouldn't do.
Let's not
because
forget
of
Shield
the
faction
alternate
XP. Gotta have more of
Miss
that.
Marvel's Marvelous Adrenaline, we're going to replace Overdrive with
I
Polymorph,
can't.
which
can't with
increases
this-
Polymorph
with
energy
this.
regeneration, with Healing Spirit Extension, which increases the duration Healing Spirit, the duration Healing Spirit resides on Miss Marvel herself.
That's pretty good.
That is synergy with all of her other.
That
perks,
is good.
which
That is a
increase
good.
damage,
That is a good
increase crit
change.
chance, and all of that kind of stuff.
Is
But
that
it'll only
a
affect
melee
herself.
piece? The Marvelous
Marvel's
Adornments?
body armor, we're replacing Healing Spirit Rush
know.
with Polymorph Melee Rush, which increases willpower while Polymorph is active. Like I said in the example,
Allows melee
of this
attacks to
set.
slowly regenerate willpower. Ugh.
Black Widow's Red
Not
Room
good, not
Arsenal,
good.
we're replacing the generic status meter build-up perk with Shadow Ops Breaker, which increases damage based on the amount of Shadow
This is
Ops
a joke,
energy you
right?
currently have. So this is one of those perks that constantly
Insane.
will adjust. If you have a high amount
Absolutely
of Shadow
insane.
Ops energy, you passively get more damage, but it'll change
That's
based
good.
on the percentage that you actually have.
Oh, but it's your
Red Room
your
Corset,
two
Red
slot,
Room
the Red Room
Uniform, we
Arsenal.
replaced Leeching
No
Strike.
one's
We're
gonna
actually
use
make
a
that
two
exclusive
slot that
to
doesn't
another
have
set
fucking
with
targeted
lethal
buff
invisibility, which has a chance
on it,
upon defeating enemy to
or
give
proficient
Black
buff in
Widow
Widow's case.
invisibility. Thor's Arm Guard of the Thunderer. We replaced the status meter buildup with Odin Force attacks with Warrior's Fury Destruction, which increases the stun, status, and overall damage while Warrior's Fury is active. Chestplate of the Thunderer replaced Asgard's Fury with Odin's Safeguard, which provides armor based on the amount of intrinsic energy you
Are they
have.
supposed to be scrolling here? They're talking
Girdle
about a
of the
Thor
Thunderer,
one.
We replaced Shock Potentiator with Assault Empowerment, which has a high chance of giving you
He's
an
only
intrinsic
sharing
boost
the
using
top
God
of the
Blast.
thing.
And we replaced Odin's Flight with
Yo,
Warrior's Fury
Sarada's
Extension,
dad,
which
what's
increases
going
the
on, dude? Thank you
duration
so much
of
for the
Warrior's
5, dude.
Fury.
Totally unnecessary. Why do these guys hate you? They
Captain
just do.
America's Harbingers of the Nomad, we replaced Block Break.
They do
making that
because
exclusive to another set with Captain's Defense.
because
Reactive
I
Trigger,
show people
which is a chance to
ways
automatically activate
to
Captain's Defense
bypass
when
some of
taking
their
damage,
things,
negating the attack.
and they don't like that.
Conduit of the Nomad now has its proper name because it was improperly named Super Soldier. Replaced the increased critical chance with Rally Cry. Going to make that to a different set with Captain's Target, which landing 3 headshots quickly in a row will activate Captain's Charge.
Why are they
Changes
going to
the Nomad
remove?
replaced
They're going to
status meter
remove the
buildup
crit
perk with
chance from the Rally Cry?
Supercharge, which increases health and heroic
That's a
regeneration.
nerf.
while
That's a
Rally
major
Cry is
nerf.
active. Rampart of the Nomad and Helmet of the Nomad. We replaced Impact Break, which is a perk found in Hive Mind gear, with Shield Block.
Your
Safeguard,
messages are getting
giving
deleted.
armor
Oh
based on the
no.
amount of Shield Block energy you have. Going into that thing of the amount of intrinsic energy gives you some form of bonus.
Well, I guess that's
in this
that
case,
then.
for Captain America, more armor. Iron Man Superior Mark 15 Doomfist, we replaced Heavy modifier with Lethal Lightweight Supercharge, which gives supercharge energy, heroic energy, and willpower when defeating enemies with light attacks. Superior Mark 15 Node, we replaced Bunker Buster missiles. We're moving that to a different slot, and I'll go over that at the end of
I
this.
can't process like what he's
With
even saying.
Supercharge Safeguard,
It-
which
I
gives
can't-
you,
if he doesn't have it
armor
on
based the
screen, I
amount of
don't know.
intrinsic energy you have. Superior Mark 15 quantum reactor. We replaced
Well, so much
overdrive
it took
with
a
supercharge
matter of
extension,
seconds
which
for me to get
increases the
fucking banned from
duration
this chat.
supercharge is active on Iron Man.
These guys
And
can go
the
fuck
Mark
themselves,
15
if you
quantum
ask
reactor,
me.
as well as the Mark 13 arc accelerator. We replaced
Can't even
takedown
take a
overdrive.
fucking
We're going to
joke.
make that exclusive to another set with supercharge. Nope, I already said that one.
They're lost when it comes to cap, bro. You're not lying.
Moving on to Hulk.
They're just hard
Will
on
Breaker's Milo
that
Fiber,
block.
replacing status meter buildup with Rage Breaker, increasing damage
Here we go.
passively based on how much intrinsic.
I don't play
rage
Hulk
energy
really,
he has.
but
Will Breaker's Alloy, we're replacing the
that seems
health
okay.
regen
Damage
perk
equal
with
to the rage he has. That's
lethal
good.
nimble overdrive, which activates short duration bone shaker off of defeating enemies or perfectly evading. World Breaker Neuronics, we're removing Monstrous Barrage to the Monstrous set, which is in the classic power set, with Bone Shaker Supercharge.
Oh, those light attacks Iron Man does. Watch out. Iron Man light attack build incoming.
I know we haven't talked about any changes to his stuff.
Hawkeye.
So Eagle's Kit and Hawk's Bow have Nightstorm Multiplier, which gives you a second Nightstorm arrow charge. That is going to be made exclusive to the classic power set because it is also over there. We're going to be replacing it with Rampant Boon, which increases your critical hit chance while Locked On is active. So again, these
not
are
bad. That's not bad. But the extra Nightstorm arrow is pretty nice.
Gameplay where you're more worried about perfectly evading, getting into combat, and maintaining a certain level of intrinsic energy to help you out with other things, feeding into other aspects of it. And again, that reward path is now going to be more focused on vaults. So the last set we have is the one that currently is the most prevalent. People have it. People have been having the most access to it, and it's the most popular with things like Operative's Armor, which is now going to be called the Apex Power Set.
Ooh, Apex Power Set. Sounds
Apex
strong.
Power Set is focused around less subtlety. More about stacking perks on top of each other, making individual combat aspects of your hero, individual attacks, far better. Stacking duration, obviously the split shot multiplier.
Oh, so basically what every player does. Okay, well let's hear what this has to say.
In terms of raw numbers, but obviously at the cost of adding no utility or any, and very rarely.
It's okay, Alex. Nobody uses utility in this game. I assure you of that one, that there is little utility anywhere.
You get the exotic currently from priority missions, and the legendary coming from flashback missions. Flashback missions are undergone a little bit of rework in this. Before, you would complete them once a day, and they would go away. That's gone. But we're still keeping the reward loop where every day it rotates. It'll be melee defense or melee ranged defense heroic. Now you will have a chance of getting the exotic from doing flashback missions.
Ooh, okay.
And I sent an image to Andy with the Stark Reality
Apex Power Set.
This is how to look at Apex Power Set.
I'll be honest, I can't really process a lot of this right now. It's pretty much, I'll just have to wait for what gets posted and what gets updated on the
those two slots as well.
You know, the infographics or the science table, and then we'll see specifically what makes sense to farm for, and then I'll let you guys know obviously what the best ones are in my point of view. But
because we did a lot of these changes beforehand. And Black Panther was kind of our template for this.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jordy. The Nightstorm arrow, I mean, the extra crit chance is good, but I guess we'll see.
Really well. It's one of his more popular sets with the community. And to try and kind of match that up, we're adding some less subtle perks on this front. So Ms. Marvel's Storm Ranger's Nega Bands, we replace status buildup while Polymorph is active with Embiggen Destruction, which increases stun, status, and overall damage while Embiggen is active. Storm Ranger's Coat of Arms, we replace the generic health regen perk with Embiggen Overdrive, which increases intrinsic regeneration while Embiggen is active. Black Widow's Natalia's Cloak, we replace Shadow Ops Amplifier with Smoke Grenade Reactive Trigger, which has a chance to cast Vanish in Smoke when she takes damage. Captain America's Iron Gloves of the Super Soldier, we replace Brooklyn Brawler Amplifier, which is now only found on the legendary version of that slot, with Brooklyn Brawler Overdrive, which increases intrinsic regeneration while Brooklyn Brawler is
Chance to
active.
cast Vanish while in
Battle
smoke.
Plate of the Super Soldier.
Vanish and
The
smoke
name
when
has
taking
changed
damage would
from
be good
Brawler's
if
Trigger
if
to
invisibility
Brooklyn
actually
Brawler
worked.
Extension, which increases the duration of Brooklyn Brawler by 3 seconds, and we're going to increase that to 8.5. Unfortunately,
No one needs a Brooklyn
this was
Brawler
being
extension.
done
I'll
with old
I
tech,
can
and we had to
promise
make
you
a
that
new
one.
perk to actually safely make sure that that duration increase happens all the time. So if you have an old version of Battle Plate of the Super Soldier, that number will go to 5 seconds because that's the highest we can go safely and we can consistently get it. If you want to see the 8.5, you have to get a new version of Battle Plate of the Super Soldier.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Anyone need an 8.5 second increase on their Brooklyn
Mark 15
Brawler?
Bastion and his Centurion's Mark 8 armaments. We replace the Jarvis barrier with Skyguard Disruptor, which increases
damage buff is
the
getting
energy you
nerfed.
get from intrinsic orbs. Intrinsic orbs give you about 25% intrinsic energy. With this perk, you're going to be getting somewhere in the range of 40%. Centurion Mark 15 Bastion. We replace the increased evade distance with Lethal Nimble Overdrive, which gives you a brief duration supercharge after defeating enemies with light attacks or perfectly evading.
Oh,
This version of supercharge
light
does not
attack
allow
Iron
you
Man.
to
Let's see if
defeat,
anyone can
but
see
does
this.
Turn on all perks that say while supercharged. Iron Man's Mark 15 Quantum Reactor replaced Rampant Assistance, which I understand.
Oh, your message wasn't posted due to conflicts with the channel's moderation settings.
And we're replacing
Yeah, I'm
it
completely
with Arc
blocked.
Overload Assistance, which gives you a second Arc Overload
Oh, that's
charge.
funny.
Centurion Mark 13 Arc Accelerator and the Mark 15 Quantum Reactor. We replaced Hulkbuster Breaker. We're moving that to the modular set with Electron Shunt, which gives intrinsic energy when parrying enemy attacks. And we replaced the generic Heroic Regen perk with Rampant Spike, which increases critical damage while overcharged. Hulk, Planet Clacker, excuse me.
Planet Clacker sounds like a really scary crab.
The Planet Clacker.
Planet Cracker Amalgam.
Yeah, this is about
Replaced
gear.
Reflexaton
It's all about
with
the changes to
Bone Shaker
gear.
Rush, where
I mean,
melee
these are
attacks
cool
slowly
changes.
regenerate health while
Some of
Bone
them
Shaker is
anyway.
active. And
It's tough.
Planet
I mean,
Cracker Dendrites.
They take
that
out stuff
home.
that maybe it's cool to get new stuff,
I didn't
but
know
I don't
how
know
bad I
how
was at
much of
saying
this
those.
stuff is going to be
We
useful
replaced
or
the
worth
generic
grinding.
Heroic Regen perk with Bone Shaker Overdrive, which increases heroic regeneration. Which increases intrinsic regeneration while Bone Shaker is active. And lastly, Thor. Censure of the Asgard Scion and Girdle of the Asgard Scion. We replaced the generic Heroic Regen perk with Rampant Lethal Extension, which extends Warrior's Fury duration for every enemy defeated while active. And Armor of the Asgard Scion and Chestplate of the Asgard Scion, we replaced Suppression Immunity with Lethal Unarmed Cryo Leak, which spreads the cryo status effect for every enemy defeated unarmed, making Thor our first hero to innately be able to get a status leak function. So, a long list of things, but to kind of
that's it. Thor is busted with that change. Oh, they gave Thor a status leak. Oh my God, forget it. Best character in the game now.
For our classic power set, which is supposed to
oh my God,
all of your bases and give you an even increase in capability.
I mean, I'll be interested to pick through some of these things. And the good thing about it, Jordy, too, is that don't forget, you can use the old one or the new one. The old one still stays, or you can get the new one. But if anything, some of the stuff that I currently use from Vaults and Villain Sectors, if I can get the same thing but add an exotic version, higher stats, I'll be okay with that.
And the Apex power set dumps all subtlety. It is all about stacking perks on top of each other to make that one aspect of the hero very powerful.
Yeah, so that's going to be the set to get.
With these three reward
those
paths
are the gear you want. Let's be honest, you guys all play this game. Do you want some sort of mix-up of well-roundedness, or do you just spam the same attack over and over like a split shot or like a...
for this hero? Because sometimes, in the past, that has been true.
Sometimes?
It's unfortunate.
Oh, it's like all the time, bro.
These changes
come on now, let's be real.
Kind of
Alex, did
Alex
you?
is muted.
Oh. Come back to
Very
us, Alex.
exciting.
There we go. There we go.
I got that battery notification a little bit too late.
Okay.
Alex, real quick, there's a lot of questions in here about people asking.
Yeah,
are
lots
these
of questions.
retroactive? Are these changes retroactive, or will people have to farm new items? For
You have
these
to farm
packs?
new items.
Okay, so
I can answer that
it is
one.
both good and bad on that aspect, depending on what you actually have on your gear. If we are adjusting a perk, that's going to be retroactive. Like if we're increasing
Same attack over and
duration,
over.
If we're increasing its
Yeah,
effectiveness
it
and
is.
all
That's
that
the
kind of
truth.
stuff. And I only went over replacements.
Hey,
in
what's
this
up, Sheik?
blog
Just
update.
got here. How's the
Patch notes
stream?
will talk about any type of
Not
perk
good.
adjustments where
I
some
got
are
banned
getting their
from it, so
number
I can't chat
increased,
anymore.
Some are getting their duration increased. A
And
lot of them are getting their duration increased.
they're nerfing damage buff
But
and changing a
those
bunch
will be
of
retroactive.
random
Any
things.
changes is not going to be retroactive. If I have replaced a perk, your piece of gear that you currently have right now will retain.
Look at Johnny
perks
Rocker's
stats,
comment.
will retain
We don't want
stats.
players to stack Valor and damage buff and make YouTube
One,
videos to
I
destroy
can't
our
change it.
content.
Two, I don't want to.
So
If
please
your
use these
piece of
other
gear
things.
Is the way it
Yeah.
has been since launch, and you like it that way, you get to keep it that way. But on the flip side, we also are adding in tons of ways to get it. So it's not going to be, oh, I have to play the priority mission once a week with the same hero and hope for RNG. Now we have the flashback missions for the Apex set, which is now going to be one of the few ways to target farm just defensive heroic or just melee range.
Oh, that's
because
good.
every time you play it, you have a chance to get the exotic. Just saying this right now, the numbers we put out there on the odds of it dropping will probably get adjusted. It is currently right now at 30% for the flashback missions. After we get some data in to see what the drop rates of that are, it might get adjusted. It might not, but right now, flashback missions are at 30%.
Loadouts, more end game, other ways to get to 170. Buy 30 and
That
still
cover
gaming.
that question? Was
A
there any other
streamer
questions
who
that maybe stood
regularly
Oh, those are the big
did
ones.
play this
Okay.
game
People
and
wanted to
now
make
does
sure that
not.
gear that they already had, they weren't going to be losing stuff.
You will not be losing any stuff on gear you already have. And one thing I did forget to mention is that the Apex power set will now drop the starting 6 status effects for all heroes, being Gamma, Shock, Cryo, Pim, Plasma, and Cosmic.
Oh no, Jordy!
Those will
Jordy,
now all
no!
be status effect
No,
possibilities in the
Jordy!
Apex power set.
I target farm by re-downloading my save!
I think I saw. Will all these changes be in?
I bet you they don't
The
ban
answer
you,
is-
Jordy. I bet you they don't ban you. They were
Alex is
looking
putting
out for me. They got a
lot of
filter on
pages,
me.
guys, of
Oh, that is so
changes to
funny.
Very specific things, and they will all.
Oh, that is
every
great.
single
That
one
is
of them
gold, man.
Will be in the patch notes.
Are you guys gonna
The
fix
big thing I wanted to definitely
loadouts is part of gear, is it
changes,
not?
as well as like the theming, as well as the
Are you
fact
guys
that
going
we
to
are gonna
fix
be
Hawkeye's
showcasing
Nightstorm
the
arrow that
names of
still
these
doesn't
sets
work?
on the war table? You'll be able to hover over the flashback mission, and if you look at the details panel, you see
Now, if only
classic power set. If
they
hover
only
over your,
divorce power from the
mission,
raid, we
check the
could
screen
benefit
on
from
the Elite
power
Vault,
wise.
you'll be able to
These
see technical
awesome
power
things.
set.
Yep,
To
exactly.
reduce confusion on where you get these individual sets and which names are tied to this set. And what does
Crossbones,
that set
solo weight
actually do?
175.
Because it was different for every hero, but Spider-Man and Black Panther allowed us to create.
Oh,
hey,
they
what do we
responded
want
to
this set
Johnny.
to actually do
We're
for
working
players?
on some
Is
plans
this
for this,
type of
but
theme
nothing to announce.
replicatable
Oh,
across
okay.
heroes? And
Cool.
we were able to make perks to get that theme across.
Loadouts yay,
Uh,
loadouts nay.
So
This chat is great. This is a great chat.
And again,
You
this
lived,
is only
Jordy.
the
That's
basics.
bullshit, dude.
There's tons of
They're
fixes
fucking.
coming.
They're so
That's
biased
what-
against
those
me,
will be
bro.
Later on in the patch.
Oh, they
notes,
hate me.
Everything. So,
Fuck them.
I have no idea if the chat is actually asking this question, but like,
I'm asking.
Spider-Man's drone cunning, is that going to work for Claw Gear in 2.3? Yes. Yes.
Oh!
I got that.
Oh,
fixed.
Jordy.
How about like,
There it
Black
is.
Panther's power
Raid
attack,
gear,
vibranium
raid
perks,
gear
like,
working
not,
on the drone
doing
status
vibranium
effect.
on every
It's what
claw
we
when you-
needed.
or, on every attack when you pounce an enemy. Yes, that is also getting fixed. This was for hero gear. There's tons of fixes coming up for a lot
Wow.
of perks, as well as adjustments. And
Big fixes.
maybe to get ahead of addressing some things, the names of a lot of these perks are very clean. So there's a little bit less flavor in those.
They're still not going to
Narrative
buff
has gone
melee.
through and done a huge amount of renaming on perks to add clarity. when we have something that says,
Can someone
Blitz
ask if
as well
they're
as Breaker, and
gonna-
they both increase damage, it adds confusion to things. So in that aspect, a lot of names have gotten changed. So we may have lost a little bit of flavor.
Can
but
someone
we
ask if they're gonna,
gained
if
a
they
huge amount of quality when
plan on
clarity,
buffing melee at all?
Players see the perk, read the name, and understand exactly what it's going to be giving them.
We don't have anything to announce around loadouts
So words
today.
like
Yeah, no
Rush
shit.
is going to be like willpower regeneration.
Nothing to
Boom is
announce.
going to be crit chance.
AKA
Spike is gonna
nothing
be
in the
crit
works.
damage, and we're going to make that across the board. So when you see something that says overdrive spike, oh, while I'm overcharged, crit damage goes up, and it's going to be that simple. So we don't have any. So we don't have crazy flavorful names.
So that's a concession to newer players,
I know
right?
There's a lot of questions about like
Everything
how
is-
Fury is coming back into the war table. I don't know if you guys want to like. It's completely separate, but I'm just.
Everything is going
There is going to be a
towards
blog about that later,
allowing
guys,
newer
but I
players
don't know, Brian,
accessibility,
also,
right?
wanna
Making
touch
things
on
less
it a little
confusing
bit,
for
or
newer
just
players.
blog?
Because the
One
game
thing
is
I'm
going to
sure
go
all
free
the
to play.
aspects
They're
that
setting up
makes
the
sense.
foundation for the
Alex
game
is
to go
talking
free to
about
play.
different-
And I'm going to have a
Judging
video
guys
on
and,
this, but that's the truth.
all the different pieces of gear that are coming out with different stuff. We don't have anything to announce on that yet. We're still looking at it internally and trying to figure out what the right path is on that. For Nick Fury, I don't want to give away too much, but
Oh, there's not much to give
basically
away.
Restructuring what used to be
Be clear.
Reigning Supreme, the mission chain,
Okay.
the basic overarching mission chain for Avengers Initiative, and making it more guided and less focused on just getting you to, less of understanding in Mega Hives. So we're reworking a bunch of different things with.
So they're reworking
how
a mission chain that
how
everyone
you
has
kind of
done.
progress through the war table, going to different areas of the war table at different power levels, so it's much more targeted. So hey, if I'm power level 50,
This is
I should be
all
doing
new
missions in
player
this area.
friendly stuff. Just so we're
Things like
clear,
that.
guys.
And,
This is all new player stuff.
Nick Fury is there to help guide you, because that's a big part of the Avengers fantasy, right? Is having Nick
see if
Fury
I'm still
kind of
banned.
there to help guide you where you're going to go. So I don't want to give any more spoilers on that, just because on the story side. But that's why we're bringing him in, and that's
Yeah, no,
kind of,
I'm
that's
still
one of the
banned.
major.
I don't know if it was just a timeout.
Alex, are all these gear changes intended to help melee more?
So there's going to be a lot of adjustments.
Oh, here we go.
Let me.
Oh, he's squirming.
So for an example, one of the Captain America ones.
I swear to God, if he tries to say that melee is already good, I'm gonna
activating
fucking
Captain's
flip
defense,
out.
negating the attack. Yeah, it can work at range, but it's designed with the other perks of that set in mind to increase your survivability in melee combat.
Please spoil us.
Is this going to be
I don't
want to
spoil
make
anything.
melee better? No. This
No,
is
it's not.
another step to making melee better.
It's a
to
long
making
journey.
Melee more efficient.
Long journey for
And
melee.
part of that is that we need to
Tough.
make sure that players are getting the skills and the perks that they need to be successful in melee combat to happen all more often. Captain's
Like
Charge
status
increases
effects.
Impact and damage.
Oh my
Captain's
God!
Defense
Like
increases
dealing
defense,
status
but you
damage
have to
more
spend
often.
block energy to do so, which means that you have a
The fucking idea that I suggested 9 months ago.
Duration only lasts for
Come
X
on,
amount of
guys.
X
Flop
amount of
dynamics.
duration.
This guy said.
And those were functionally
Oh,
very
kill
difficult
me.
to happen, very difficult to proc all the time in melee combat. A lot of these perks are designed.
Brian's
to
over here
shore up those
defending that
weaknesses.
Last Avenger
So if
Standing
you
is
go
meant to
into
be
that
the
style,
multiplayer
you're going to be able
version
to handle
of
melee
Mega
combat
Hive.
much better. For Miss Marvel, getting status effect on her signature attacks is a huge boon for melee. Being able to go in and being able to
Huge.
use her
Huge.
spin to win her whirlwind ability
This
to
is
apply
this
status
is tough
effect to
to
multiple
listen.
enemies is an amazing utility feature for her.
I'll
And
be
she's
real with you
able-
guys.
she's
No,
able to
very
do it
few
as
people
well as
use that
being
whirlwind
big.
attack. It's not
These are
her
small
best attack.
aspects
She was like the
trying to
one
shorten
character
a
who
lot
was
of the
actually
outlying
okay
effects
because
that
she
make
could do the
melee
power
combat
attack from the
much
air, the punch
more
down,
difficult
and
than
also her
melee
light
range
combo
combat.
finisher was
Like I said,
fairly successful
it
with
is a
with.
complicated answer
with
to
that,
make melee combat better.
It's not.
Yeah, you can do a lot of damage in melee, but it's functionally incredibly hard, and also it sometimes pales in comparison to ranged combat.
Sometimes.
A lot of perk adjustments coming up as well as
Bruh.
plenty of perk fixes.
Is
Melee
this?
combat
Am
is
I the
gonna
only
get
one who
shored up
like
on some of the
is
outlying
about to do a
elements, but
backflip?
there is
Are you
a
guys listening to
plan
this?
that is already being executed
What
upon
plan?
to really give Melee spice.
A punch?
I guess the best way to put it.
It doesn't make a
That
punch
is
joke.
not going to be coming out in 2.3, but the elements have already been. That plan has already been started, and has already made progress.
Oh,
Hey,
So-
Alex, one question I'm seeing a lot of is the faultless buff perk on claw raid gear that
Okay,
only doesn't work for
Yes,
range.
so
it doesn't.
that,
It's intentional. He knows it's
that came in
intentional.
patch notes, but that is something that I can address right now. Is that faultless buff on the ranged gear, on the range slot in claw gear, is going to be exclusively melee crits. So we were toying around with the idea, like, what if we make it a new one where it's on all crits? And
It was
everything like that,
always
but
all melee
rather than
crits.
that, especially with a lot of the other gear perk adjustments coming in,
We
are
knew
going to be
that.
making it special that it
They
is
put
the
it on
only
range so that it would free up
melee
another
crit
slot.
activated damage buff that can come on range gear, and that in itself is special to give the range slot something more interesting for melee focused characters.
Yes, you put it on the ranged gear, so if you're melee focused,
One
you can
thing-
have
one
two different
that I'm seeing
things.
people ask a lot about, and I've answered it I think 3 or 4 times already, is people are asking for a solo weight from 150 to 175. Alex and I have actually been talking about
Free
this.
tricks! Look at this guy!
I have some ideas on how to do that.
I love you,
Nothing
God
to
Killer
announce
Gore.
now.
Love you, bro.
We want to.
That's funny.
We want to make sure that it's done in the right way. So it's definitely something we'll probably look at doing soon after 2.3. I hate using the term soon, but until we have everything locked in, I don't want to give any super specifics on it yet. But we know that's a big ask, and we know that that's something that you guys want. So
Okay, very well.
we're looking at how to do that.
I'm okay with solo to
I'm also
175.
seeing
Yeah,
when
I'm
this
totally
patch is
cool
going
with that.
live. Later in March. I mean, we're already in March. There's only
Yeah.
a few weeks left. We'll announce it when we have the exact day and are confident in the day. But it's definitely later in March. So I think we're still in the first week. But we will.
What's up, Austin? They did not fix melee. They basically said they don't
And
really
I
know what they're
if
doing,
anybody
but they
brought
have
it up or
a
if
5-point
everybody saw the
plan later
images and They
on.
were just like, "Hey, cool, perfect." The mission chains for the vaults and villain sectors, the elite ones, are going to get units on them.
Oh yeah.
And we made a mention before in a blog post that
units!
the OLT and the raid are going to get units awarded from the war zone as well as the mission chain. So repeated completions of those things are going to net you units.
Which is great. I think it's like what we saw a lot when shipments were first released back in the November patch. So
Mhm.
this
Yeah,
is
there's going to be
definitely
a
something,
bunch
right?
a bunch of different ways for you to earn them now. A lot of it based off of mission completion rather than focusing mainly on.
Why do y'all
chests.
hate
However,
Tricks
chests
Ridiculous?
are
Yo,
gonna get a
thank you,
little bit of a buff
genius.
too, because you're going to be able to get units out of DNA chests as well, and that will be the
Just for the
hardest
record, I
amount
don't
of
hate
units
these
from a
guys.
chest.
Like,
And
I want
DNA
that to be
chests obviously
perfectly
still
clear.
require DNA
I do not hate these guys. I know
so
they're
we're
working
not only
hard.
increasing
They're
the
limited in
through
their
the chest
own
process
resources to be
effectively
able to give
farm,
us this.
but
And they're
also
chill
through,
dudes. Like, they are chill
A
dudes.
lot of the
They
faction
just
mission
they don't like
work
me.
that Alex has done,
And I get it. They
through,
can't. They got to kind of
NBA
protect themselves
missions
from a
like your,
corporate perspective.
OLT
I'm a
and
controversial
Discord and
figure, so
Sound
they
Weekly,
can't really
and
associate.
repeat play of the OLT and Discord and Sound.
What's up,
rates as
Bastion?
well. You'll be getting units from that.
Did they fix anything?
Oh, yeah,
No,
feedback.
not really. They fixed Spider-Man's thing works on
Any
the raid gear.
thing else that
Spider-Man's
you
drone
you
works
guys
on the
wanna
raid gear
missed?
now.
Alex, you had a lot to talk about
They're
today.
changing a
Anything else
bunch
that you
of
wanted to
gear
mention?
pieces. They're adding elite,
A lot of
a weekly
players,
elite vault and a weekly
we're kinda going into
elite
the
villain
idea,
sector,
we
which
did
are basically
mention that
nothing,
there are a lot of perk
but can
fixes
get
coming
you
Yeah.
All I
gear.
talked about today were either A, new, or B, replacements, not fixes. We have a ton of fixes coming in for the things. And something I want to get out ahead of it is, okay, cool, potentiator. Breaker means increased damage. Potentiator is a term that is now going to mean something specific when 2.3 comes around.
The fuck does that mean?
So, hey, amplification.
What the hell does that mean?
Magnifier means status buildup. Breaker means damage. Potentiator is something else. But that'll be discussed in a later blog as we get closer to the patch notes.
It's gonna be long patch notes, you guys.
Yeah.
Long patch notes. Exciting though. Exciting either way. Brian, is there anything that you wanted to mention while we're getting any last questions about gear?
Yeah, people have been asking about like raid fixes.
Yeah.
There are some that are going in based off of some of the bigger, or I should say more common issues, like the sonic wall not showing up for some people.
Oh,
Some of these
Hell yeah.
some of those issues we weren't able to I'm sorry, some of those issues we couldn't get to happen internally during testing. So some of the fixes we're hoping will address that. We have an idea on like what caused things like the red wall not showing. A lot of it has to do with.
I don't even think that's a big one anymore.
Across, different regions with different.
How about dying in a
settings, which is
cutscene?
Difficult to simulate in a when you're testing things on your own network. So we have some fixes that are going in there. Our tech design guys have been working really hard to identify.
Vengeance Monster, don't go crazy, man. They'll ban you too.
Possible.
I appreciate the support, but it's fine. I'm not even chatting anymore.
Fixes, are that they work and they're not causing any other problems and things like that. Anytime you're messing with things like network and network code,
that's it for Vengeance Monster. Rip.
So, yeah.
Please do not harass anybody. Please. You do not. I mean, I wouldn't call that harassment, but don't go crazy.
Really great.
I appreciate the funny little quips, but
and then Alex
don't be a jerk.
Nose down, working on all this gear stuff, which has been. I'm really excited to try out.
So, long story short, bug fixes may be in the raid.
Go over again the raid and OLT checkpoint rewards that we talked about in the week.
Oh yeah, this is exciting. The checkpoint.
Alex's baby. I'll let him talk.
Alex,
about that.
you talk about it.
Oh yes.
So let's hear it.
So,
Spider Boss.
really early on, when we were actually setting up the whole plan, the whole reward cadence for the raid, we wanted checkpoint. We wanted objective rewards, like typical other raids.
Bastion, they said that is coming. They have plans for that down the road. 170 solo.
It didn't work with Hero Bound. So we're like, no, Hero Bound needs to be prioritized. And we got that working. But that didn't mean we didn't want to stop doing that. So we put in a lot of work, and we had one of our engineers do just a ton of work, basically starting a couple of weeks after we launched the Claw raid. It just immediately started work. And we've been able to get the objective rewards working. So you will now have 4 points in the Claw raid where you will get rewards. The first one is going to be after you complete the Sonic Wall. After you open up the Sonic Wall, you are going to get defense, or this is for the normal raid. You're going to get the defense and heroic piece. After
this is just from the weekly, right?
Just from the weekly. The mission chain is where these come
from. So it starts after
complete
Spider.
The raid again. These encounters are not going to give you.
I kind of figured that.
But
so this is just for the weekly, so you can't farm this anyway.
So after you complete the Sonic Wall, you're going to get your first piece. After you complete either the forge or the drill or the tower, you will get one of the minor artifacts. It will only happen on the first one of those when you come back. The purpose we're doing that is that we want you to always have a place of pause to look at your rewards if you want to equip it or anything like that.
Who the fuck is pausing and looking at your rewards?
Right to the Zalavari fight.
I guess you could.
You have no time to equip
fair.
anything.
Okay, no, I take that back.
After the Zalavari fight, you're going to get your.
You're going to die immediately if you start looking at shit, though.
This means you're actually going to get.
They put you right into an area where you will get killed by the
fire thing. It does not increase your power level, but you will be getting another one. And then, of course, after the Claw raid, you will be getting
artifacts.
Melee ranged.
That's what I need to farm.
That does improve your power level. The Elite raid has that a little bit of a little adjusted, where the minor artifacts come first rather than in the middle. But you will now be getting another minor artifact for doing the normal raid that will actually match your power level. This is also on top of the Warzone itself, giving you a random gear piece. So as you progress through, you'll be getting rewards. If something happens in the middle of it, you still have those rewards up until that point that you got them.
Mm-hmm.
But the war mission,
it's fine.
Rewards that you get from repeat completions.
It's not like
raid, those will stay the same. In addition to the units that we've added, correct?
Correct. That's the other thing is that we.
What if the melee
added units to the mission?
I guess it would be the one that's the lowest for you.
First time completion in the week, you're going to be getting 1,000 units.
This is fine.
Plus the 500 from.
But you still have to do the whole thing, right? So it's not like you get a drop or a drop.
And
it's
when
literally
you mission again. That 500 remains.
It's like you get the drop.
So a lot more units.
Right. and then you still need your melee slash ranged drop
So
from the
we have
final
hero-bound
checkpoint. So even if you
objective rewards.
lose,
We have
you get
our
all the other rewards.
hero-bound
You're still
Mega
going to want to
Hive,
go
which
get
has
that
the
drop, so you're going to have to do it over
And we
anyway.
have normal hero-bound missions. We
This
have
only
most of what we
slightly
want covered in hero-bound mechanics, and we're
this only
still looking to
slightly
expand that to make
helps.
sure that it covers all bases.
Yep, we have a couple other things that we're working to get hero bound that we're trying really hard to get.
What up, Vengeance Monster? What up, Space Mercenary? What up, Jesus? How you guys doing?
We're pretty
You didn't
late
miss
in
too
the-
much.
in the
There'll be a recap
process of,
posted up.
Getting the patch finalized.
It's
and then
not
tested,
great.
So
Nothing too great. I got banned,
next couple
but
days we'll know.
Great. All right. I mean, it's 4 minutes to 3. Any last thing you guys want to mention? I know I keep saying this is my favorite thing to do, like giving people last words. Any last words from you guys, Brian? Alex?
join in progress.
No, it's good to be back. It's good to talk to you
Yeah.
guys again. I know there's a lot of
Join in
questions and
progress.
a lot of ask for roadmap, and like I said, we're working on that, and as soon as we have something to share, we will. Our goal with this is being methodical, taking our time, and ensuring that anything that we do put on a roadmap, we're able to execute. And so
I
that
mean,
we're
they
not
literally
giving
didn't
you guys
execute on
anything that
everything on the
you know,
roadmap last
last minute
time. They removed
delayed
patrol.
or anything
Remember
like
that?
So
Like,
we're taking our
we still
time,
just want to see a
processing,
roadmap
what we need
of
to
your
do to get that
potential
out,
stuff.
and once it's ready,
Can
we'll
we
let
get
you
a
know.
quote of this right now that it's taking so long because
Well,
they
thank you, Alex, for I'm
because
sure
they
you need
want
to
it to
take a
be
drink of
perfect so
water.
that when
There's
something
a
comes
lot
up
of
and
gear
they say we
changes.
have to push it back,
But thank you for
we
coming.
can say,
Thank you
well,
for like telling
glad we
everyone about
waited.
all the massive gear changes that are coming with 2.3. You wrote a blog. It's going to be published relatively soon. It's going to be published today. Hopefully, there's a few website issues right now that we are aware of for the blogs. We're trying to figure it out. But if it doesn't come out today, hopefully we can do something else. But all this information will be readable later today. So thank you all for coming today. We are going to raid. I think we're gonna raid Kitty. Chaos Kitty. It's her birthday apparently. Happy birthday.
Guess Kitty.
Happy birthday, Kitty.
Happy birthday.
So I know Layla is in chat right now. Layla, if you can start the raid, that would be awesome. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Okay, let's see what Lejeune has to say. Oh, I might not be able to watch Lejeune because he always has music. Cloning Labs, imagine. I got banned from that chat, June. Feels bad, guys. What did you guys think of that?
Tricks, you got fucking banned. What the fuck? Oh, you did, bro. Oh my god, what the fuck?
He's dying.
That motherfucker said he got banned. Oh my god, bro. What you did, bro? World Breakers Alloy, what that drop on? World Breakers Alloy. Elite Heroic Hive.
I said another thing to save scum.
What perk did they change? Alright.
Fucking insane. He loves it.
Oh my god, that's a W, Tricks. Exactly what I'm gonna be doing.
But he knows that's what he's gonna be doing. That's what everyone's gonna be doing.
What to be doing?
Bruh.
I'm not even mad at you, Tricks. You trying to put people on game. I'm not even mad at it, bro. That's exactly what I'm gonna be doing.
That's a fact, bro. Come on. Oh my god. All right, fellas. All right, guys. What else is new here? You've also... Yo, Vengeance Monster. Yeah, I saw you got banned. I would have warned you not to go too crazy, man. I appreciate the cute little quips, but if you could start going all caps, they'll go crazy on you. All right, fellas. Yo, I'm probably going to call it. I wasn't planning like a full long stream today, but I wanted to do this because I heard there was some information. But that's that. Let me know what you think. Leave a like on the video, all that good stuff. I'm going to go try to take the dog for a walk while it's still light out. But otherwise, that is it for me, fellas. I got some new videos coming based on, what we're hearing on some of this stuff. I just have some thoughts and whatnot. But other than that, yo, take it easy. Appreciate you guys hanging out, watching this stream, even though it was a little bit of an L. But that's that, fellas. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.